Yeah, what up, people? Was good. So today I'll be discussing the feud between Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State, the former governor of Ekiti State, and the present governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde. And the fact is that almost 6 months into Seyi Makinde's government, Fayose has been attacking Seyi Makinde on all media platforms, on radio, on TV, on internet, on blogs, and everywhere. We've been seeing the attacks from Fayose to Seyi Makinde, right? And the first time he was asked a question about this, about what has been causing the camaraderie and the fight between him and his former friend, and a fellow party leader. He said he wouldn't like. Fayose said he wouldn't like or respect someone who is disrespecting Tinubu. How? There hasn't been any report or any instance where Seyi Makinde disrespected Tinubu, right? And I don't think they even came across each other, even though there are some reports about Seyi Makinde going to Tinubu to beg for governorship ticket, and that was before he became the governor. That was before he became the governor while Ajimobi was alive, around 2016, 2017 time, right? And there were also reports that that Seyi Makinde was invited to join APC after he became the governor in 2015, which he refused. And that has been the number one reason for all the clamor of Seyi Makinde's impeachment that has been going on in Oyo State right now. Teslim Folarin, about 6 months ago, is this 6 months? Maybe over 6 months ago, but not up to a year ago, said that the Oyo APC in Oyo State, the APC All Progressive Congress in Oyo State, that they have set 2 traps for Seyi Makinde, right? And he can't escape the two traps, right? If one couldn't catch him, the second one is going to catch him, right? That's number one, and which means that if they can't impeach him, they're going to cause some insecurities and whatever. And he threatened, Teslim Folarin threatened that they will make sure that APC gets to government, which means either Seyi Makinde converts to APC or they get to impeach him. That APC will be in government before 2023. Not even until 2023. That they won't win till 2023. APC is going to be in government in 2023 in Oyo State. Akala Akala, who is also a former governor of Oyo State, also went ahead to say the same thing, right? And this was actually the same time that Fayose was also forming a Tinubu defender on Seyi Makinde's issue, right? And after then, even though a lot of people were saying, Fayose wasn't working for APC, I want you guys to remember the Alimadu Sheriff's problem in PDP. Alimadu Sheriff became the chairman of the PDP back then in 2016 through the support of Fayose. Fayose was the only PDP governor in the Southwest then. And he have this power, right? Wike, who can counter him, who is really in PDP then, right? That they are almost making the decisions together. Wike is in the south, that they were both making the decisions together. Wike is his friend, right? So whatever Fayose says, Wike will try to be diplomatic about it and be very careful before he criticizes him or he go against whatever Fayose says. So, through the support of Fayose, Alimadu Sheriff became the party chairman of PDP, even though a lot, I can say 85% of of PDP chieftains never liked him. They never wanted him there. But, Fayose Fayose supported him and pushed him to the top to become the chairman. And what did Alimadu Sheriff do? Alimadu Sheriff was dishing out the party's governorship tickets. The party's governorship aspirant tickets of the PDP was dishing it out to weak candidates. How is he doing this? He was manipulating the results of election and rather supporting weaker candidates against stronger candidates. The stronger candidates I'm talking about, people with more political popularity and people with more money, right? Then the weaker candidates get sponsored by the APC leaders, the Tinubu and others. It gets sponsored by the APC leaders to win the election against someone who can be a good contender to the APC candidate who can be a good contester against the APC candidate. So they would fund the weaker candidates in the PDP primary election. During the PDP primary election, immediately the weaker, so that when the weaker candidate gets the ticket, it will be easily defeated by the APC contestants. Are you getting this? So they are influencing the PDP primary election to produce a candidate that will not be able to defeat the APC candidate. So they played this on, and Fayose was also playing along to and also supporting him. But it got to a point that this thing was playing out in public, and everybody could see, even though almost everyone knew who Alimadu Sharif was. Why? Because everybody could see the role he played, the alleged role he played in the Boko Haram, because it was mentioned by some international agency as one of the sponsors of Boko Haram. Right? He's an ex-governor of Borno State. Right, and even while he was in government, he had deals, he had acquaintances and connections with the Boko Haram while he was in government. He left government in 2007 or so, and ever since Borno State hasn't remained the same. So after Alimadu Sharif left the position of chairman of PDP, he went to APC, which means that he has always been an alliance, an acquaintance of APC. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the fact that Fayose is working for APC while in PDP is obvious, right? And as well, Fayose also like to be in front of the camera. Also like to be in front of the newspaper page, at the first page of the newspaper. He liked to be in the media all the time. There was a time he used to insult Buhari, abuse Buhari here and there, even though Buhari too can be a wipe for you sometimes, and be good. But the fact is that, he's always trying to spark up what do they call it? Always trying to spark up fight between himself and Buhari, even though Buhari gave him some attention then and he's boosted his popularity. When Buhari started ignoring him, then he jumped on Obasanjo, right? When he started recounting the histories of how Obasanjo maltreated him, how Obasanjo booted him and a lot of other governors like Babaladoja and others, and all these things. So the cause of this fight are two things. Fayose is now an ex-governor, and he loves to be in the news. The only way to be in the news is to be warring with the people who are in power presently. The likes of Seyi Makinde, right? Is to be fighting them, exchanging words. But Seyi Makinde is playing it smart. He's not responding, not even a statement. He's not responding him at all, and he just lets him do woo, 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 chihuahua thing. So that is what he's trying to do, and you would see, study this thing about Fayose. The more Seyi Makinde ignore him, the more he spit out unspeakable things that are not really, that doesn't really make sense. On his last broadcast, the video he broadcasted last, he was saying, tó bá tẹrí bá fáwátá àti ṣe kíní kan, a máa bẹ̀ lórúkọ jẹ́, àwa lẹ́nu kíní kan tó bá lówó sápò ara ẹni o, a máa sọ̀rọ̀ tí ò dá ń pa ẹ̀, a máa bá tiẹ̀ jẹ́. Báwo lè yí fẹ́ bá tiẹ̀ jẹ́? Àti lu 8 years, yẹ ti lu 8 years, bóyá ti kúrò ń bẹ̀. So what are we talking about? Right? Even though Uche Secondus, the national chairman of the party of PDP, has appointed Saraki to lead the committee the committees that are going to calm down all the tensions and settle all the problems between these people, right? But the fact is, the motivations, Seyi Makinde is obviously not fighting Fayose, right? So Fayose that is bringing up the fight, his motivations can't be stopped. Two motivations: he wants to be in the news all the time, right? So immediately you settle the fight, he won't be in the news anymore. So Saraki will be wasting his time trying to settle the fight. That's number one. And secondly, working for APC and making sure and trying to bow Seyi Makinde's head to Tinubu in body law, of course that is never going to be possible. And since that is never going to be possible, and Fayose is actually a loyalist of Tinubu, and let me remember you, Buhari and his cabinet, they threatened to arrest Fayose and Buhari's spokesman, all these Femi Adesina, Bashir and all these guys, they threatened to arrest Fayose immediately he leave the seat of the governor. And don't forget, they even wanted to arrest him as a sitting governor. Buhari wanted to be using some tyrannical dictatorship playing moves then, then he realized that he might end up committing blunders. So they left him, and after Fayose's what's the name? After Fayose's 4 years as the governor, have you ever heard him being arrested? Even though they tried to arrest him maybe 1 or 2 days and he was bailed out and all this shit. Do you think if Buhari actually want to lock him up, he wouldn't? Who do you think was protecting him? And you think he would just insult Buhari like that and he would go scot-free? A sitting governor, not Pamela on what's the name? Not just some Pamela on Twitter, not just Dikpo Awojide on Twitter or someone, not just Adeola Fayeun exposing Buhari. No, this is a sitting governor, someone who has a big political influence on a lot of people, on millions in Ekiti, and you think he's gonna insult Buhari and he's gonna go scot-free like that, man? And you don't know someone is protecting him, and of course it's not in APC. Of course the likes of Tinubu were protecting him, because Magu was Tinubu's what's the name? Ibrahim Magu was Tinubu's candidate, right? Tinubu nominated him for Buhari to make him the EFCC chairman, right? And Buhari as well was looking for, even though Buhari was corrupt, Magu was corrupt, and he had his own corruption allegations, which was the reason why the Saraki-led Senate, the 8th Senate, didn't want to confirm him then. But Buhari had to, because he's looking for second term and he would need Tinubu's support, right? So they agreed, and they appointed what's the name? They appointed Ibrahim Magu as the EFCC chairman, of which the Saraki-led Senate said no, that they are not going to make him and confirm him as the EFCC chairman. And what did Buhari made him acting chairman just to satisfy Tinubu, and this was the reason why Fayose is being protected, from the arrest, from getting arrested by the federal government and the EFCC. And for anyone that is doubting that maybe Tinubu may have a hand in the nomination of Ibrahim Magu, okay, I will drop a link below where I described everything that went down during the nomination of Ibrahim Magu as the chairman of the anti-graft agency EFCC, so you can know what's happened. There was a time, what's the name? There's this company that People's Gazette exposed. People's Gazette and Sahara Reporters, they exposed Tinubu to have been using the company to loot money from Lagos State. I forgot the name of the company. Right? I'm going to put it here while editing the video. So in short, this company is run by Tinubu, right? And he has some associates, some big business associates that they're working together, and they fell out, they had issues between them, and a cut of their deals, which they are supposed to pay to a certain to one person, wasn't paid to him, and that person was threatening Tinubu that he is going to report to Magu. Tinubu was responding him that, look, that Magu you are trying to use to threaten me, Magu is my boy and he's going to protect me, so there's nothing you can do. We are going to share your own court among ourselves, and nothing is going to happen. So the guy went on the pages of the newspaper to dish out a lot of disinformations. So that is that about Fayose. He has two motivations, to bow Seyi Makinde's head down for Tinubu in body loan, to the body loan general, and to do what? And to be in front of the pages of newspaper all the time. That's all I've got to say. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. We talk later. See you tomorrow.